Madara walked silently with the rest of his clan as they saw the gates of their hometown approaching. The Uchiha were in a great mood, having achieved their single largest victory in a decade, and most of all having witnessed their famous bloodline being reborn. That had been the single reason that overwhelmed the losses they suffered. They might have achieved victory, but the price was too high. Madara had set out for battle with 300 of his clansmen and 4 of his brothers. Now he returned back with less than half of that army and the bodies of his 3 precious little brothers. His only solace was the fact that he hadn't lost all his siblings. His youngest brother was still in this world, and that gave Madara the strength to fight and protect them. He and Naruto had never been the best of friends, but after losing what they had, Madara couldn't help but be worried for the little boy. He was all Madara had left apart from their power-hungry father who hadn't blinked an eye on seeing the bodies of 3 of his sons. They died with honor, and their sacrifice gave us the Sharingan back. There is no need to shed any tear, boy. Madara couldn't help but sigh in satisfaction on seeing his father sporting one black eye courtesy of Naruto. The little boy, who had acted so meek and submissive his entire life, had been enraged on hearing his father say such a thing when Izuna's corpse was not even cold yet. He had jumped before Madara could stop him. Even Tajima had never anticipated such a move until Naruto proved he was the blood of the dragon, and Tajima had enraged him. Tajima had not taken the insult kindly and tried to hit his son back only to freeze to see the level of hatred and anger in those little Sharingan eyes. That hesitance had given Madara the time to pull his brother back and apologize on his behalf. The young dragon. Madara looked at his brother silently, walking by his side, carrying with him the jar that held the ashes of their 3 brothers. The boy was so silent, his eyes so vacant. A permanent melancholy looked etched on his young face. Madara had only washed the corpse of his brothers, but Naruto was the one who had to watch them die, one after another in front of his eyes. Izuna's death had broken something in him, and yet it had ignited something dangerous as well. He was brought out of his thoughts by the roars and cheers from the mass of people waiting for them. Despite what he had suffered in the past week, Madara couldn't help but feel relief flood him at the sight of his home and his people. Tajima nodded at the cheers and started giving quite a promising speech of many more victories against the Senju. And when he introduced the rebirth of Sharingan among his 2 sons, the entire clan gasped. Madara was stunned to see the cheering that erupted on the announcement, which was even greater than the one of their victory. Some older and younger classmen actually teared up on realizing their beloved Sharingan was back in their blood. It was a historical occasion, and his father was basking in all the praise and glory, his dark eyes shining even greater than his ambitions. He then pointed towards his 2 sons. My 2 sons achieved victory for us, and together they shall help our house conquer the whole world. Today, before the gods, pledge your loyalty and service to Madara Uchiha, the invincible dragon, and Naruto Uchiha, the young dragon, the future of the house of Uchiha. Madara's eyes slightly widened when, without hesitation, his entire clan knelt as he stepped forward. When he activated his Sharingan, he saw all their hopes and dreams with this new eyes. They were trusting him to win their lost glory back and get them justice, and he would not fail them. He looked at his father and saw the man staring at him with absolute pride and confidence. Madara remembered seeing his brothers and his classmen dying at the hands of those bastard Senju, and felt his anger alongside determination rise. I will bring fire and blood to the Senjus, he roared, raising his sword in the air. The clan roared alongside him and praised him over and over. It was then time for his brother to step forward, the baby of their family, one who was always overlooked by the clan but now was the center of their attention. But one look in Naruto's eyes showed Madara his brother was different. His next words proved that. We lost nearly 150 of our people in this battle, including 3 of my brothers, said Naruto sadly, as Tajima felt his blood boil. The people will sing songs about their sacrifice, rebuffed Tajima, and saw the disappointment in his son's eyes. Yes, but my brothers and our dead warriors will never hear them. That struck each and every person of their clan as they stared at the numerous jars containing the ashes of their fallen. The excitement died down as people realized the price that was paid, and Naruto stepped forward. We fought without strategy like wild animals. We fought them without armor, believing in our superiority. We are powerful warriors, but we are men as well. We bleed and die just like the Senju. If not for the sacrifices of my brother and Madara, courage, we would have lost, explained Naruto honestly, much to the shock, horror, and bitterness that emerged in their people. That's enough, boy, growled Tajima, who was utterly silenced when Naruto activated his 2 Tomoe Sharingan and glared at them. The boys swiftly turned towards their people, who were just given a tight slap of reality, destroying every plan Tajima had made for their near future. One victory does not make us conquerors. This war is far from over, and if we're defeated, the Senju we have to fight smarter. We have to outsmart them both on the battlefield and off of it as well. We are Uchiha, the strongest and most noble house of this world. We are the blood of dragon, and together we shall regain all that we have lost, but only if we fight together. Only if we learn from our mistakes, the little boy yelled like the dragon he was. Stunned silence prevailed as Naruto unleashed his Tanto to raise it in the air. The sheer amount of determination and courage those Sharingan eyes drew the complete attention of the entire clan, much to Tajima and Madara's surprise. Are you with me? Madara feared his brother had spoken too much truth. Their people were not ready to hear, but he was proven wrong when there was movement from amongst the warriors who had fought on the battlefield. Madara recognized the 3 boys who were the first to kneel, followed by several dozen others. Naruto speaks truly, and I believe him. My sword is yours to command, now and always, promised Shisui Uchiha, earning a nod from the surprised young boy who had not expected any support. I pledge my life to you, young dragon, promised Itachi Uchiha. The last boy raised his sword, making the rest of the clan follow swiftly. The young dragon! Yelled Kagami Uchiha. Naruto remained still, watching his people pledge him their loyalty fully without any hesitation. Tajima was fuming, but it was Madara whose eyes widened as he saw a glimpse of someone in his little brother. Izuna. His youngest brother was not weak, for he had inherited Izuna's will, and as the eldest, Madara had to protect him, for Naruto was his youngest and only brother from this day on. With a smile, Madara joined his people to support his brother for the first time in his life. Tajima watched his youngest son standing alone near the lake. It was a far cry from the inspiring leader who had started to win the support of their people. Madara was starting to gain popularity among the older generation, but Naruto had also developed quite a following amongst the younger ones, with the heir of 3 powerful Uchiha families pledging their lives to him. Naruto was different. He always had been from the moment he learned to speak. That boy. He's something else, isn't he? Asked the soft voice. Tajima turned to face his only sibling still left in this world. Naori was still beautiful as ever, with long flowing purple hair that reached her waist. Her skin was fairer than that of Tajima's, and her hourglass figure had made her quite desired by many in their clan. Yet she had not married despite reaching the age of 19. He himself was only 26 years old, which was quite old in their world, where not many lived past the age of 30, due to the constant warfare. His sister had inherited all the grace and beauty of their mother, while Tajima had followed his own father to become the current leader of their house. Naori had been a fighter once until she lost her only lover against the Sarutobi clan. It made her lose the will to fight and she retired. But despite Tajima's worries, she had proven herself quite useful by managing the administration of their clan. She was also the representative of their clan among their few allies and was often away for months to keep those alliances breathing, and he allowed himself to relax around her. So when she placed her hand on his arm and hugged him, Tajima didn't resist. For only now, when it was just him and his sister, did he allow himself to remember his 3 sons who had perished. They had died as true shinobi, and would make sure their sacrifices would be remembered by their people. "I'm sorry, brother," she whispered sadly. "Do not dishonor my sons, Naori," warned Tajima, but his tone was neither harsh or cold. "They were boys, brother." He gently broke the hug and looked at her closely. She would be already married by now, giving birth to their next generation. But then again, his sister had always been a wild one, and only her lover's death had stolen her fire. In that way, she was not much different from Naruto, as they both did what they wanted. She touched his swollen eye and laughed as he told her Naruto had hit him. Tajima's eyes twitched. "You find this funny?" he growled irritatedly. "You only have yourself to blame, brother. Never provoke a dragon, much less an enraged one," she chastised, glancing at her nephew who brooded all alone. Tajima scoffed. "He's young and foolish." She looked at him pointedly for such a long time until he finally sighed and admitted another true fact. "But he has a sharp mind. He infuriates so much, but he is a dragon indeed. I never thought my youngest would awaken our prized eyes, and it gives me hope for him. But he is terrible with ninjutsu," said Tajima bitterly. He narrowed his eyes when his dear sister got the same amused twinkle in her eyes. "Brother, you can be quite dense at times," she teased. "Watch it," he warned as he raised an eyebrow. "Or what? You'll harm me? Your only sister?" Tajima grit his teeth so hard, but didn't say anything else. Because she was right. Despite the faults of their house, their one great quality was that they truly cared about the ones dearest to them. It had often led them to great follies and suffering, but it had also kept the Uchiha strong. The Senjus were not the only ones who knew love for their own kind. The Uchihas simply found it difficult to express such emotions due to their rigid customs and hard-hearted society. And it was more evident to Tajima with his relationship with Naruto. "Madara is your heir, and the right one to lead the clan in the future, but he'll need his brother, now more than ever. However, the boys are different. You take Madara under your tutelage, and I'll take Naruto under mine," she offered. "No, they're my sons, and I will train them," he said firmly. But she simply pointed at his blackened eye gifted to him by his youngest son. "Young dragons are dangerous creatures, brother. You have done well by Madara and the rest of your sons. But Naruto is wild. He is more like me, and the more you try to suppress him, the more he'll rebel and burn everyone around him. He needs a different touch," she insisted as he grunted. "You'll only make him more soft." The icy stare he received from his sister made him regret his words. A large portion of his power came from the alliances and trade relationships she maintained for their house, bringing in money, resources, and support that helped them fight against the Senju. Naori was gentle and kind, but was ruthless to those who crossed her, including her brother. "I'm sorry," he said reluctantly. She gave him an easy smile that made his bitterness go away. Naori never gloated about the power she held in her hands and was simply content in supporting him from the shadows, provided he gave her the respect she deserved. They were completely different, but that didn't make him love her any less. "Fine, hand it, boy." "Gods, no, I can't," he muttered, earning a brief chuckle from her. "I promise, brother." Smash that like button. When we get to 500 likes, I'll release the next part. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment Q or any other comment you may have. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next part. Why did I sound so weird there?